If you have been in the internet long enough, I think you have heard of this book. It's Color and Light by James Gurney. Honestly, this book is amazing. It has many things that I think are very important to learn. So here I'm doing a little clip through. I absolutely love this book, but I have never taken the time to study it. So this is the year that I'm going to go through every single section and going to start studying it. James Gurney is a self-taught artist and he has an amazing portfolio with beautiful landscapes and really realistic paintings, and he has also worked in National Geographic. The part of the book that I'm going to be studying today is going to be the source of light, and it's going to be the direct sunlight. And he talks about 3 different sources of light that we see in any given moment when we are dealing with direct sunlight. The first one is the sun. The second one is the blue sky, and the last one is reflected light from objects. On a sunny day, the sun is going to be the brightest light source there is, and it's going to be the most important one. So when we're painting, we have to think about where the light hits from the sun, and that's the one that is going to be the primary light source. Then we have the blue sky. When we think about the blue sky as a light source, we need to remember a couple of things. First, that it's a very soft light, that it surrounds every single part of the object when we're outside, since the blue sky is like a blue dome with diffuse light. So the light is going to be reflected everywhere, and that makes a part of the color a little bit to the bluer side, especially when there's no more direct sunlight to it. So we're going to have in the shadows parts where the blue sky is going to be very prevalent and noticeable. The reflected light from other objects, I think, is one of the hardest ones to understand. But here we have 2 flowers, and we can see how this part of a flower is very affected by the sun in the sky and is very yellow. And also that sun is shining on the green leaf that is reflecting back at the flower where it should be yellow. Now it's a little bit more green. Now we're going to be studying this picture, and we're going to try to find all 3 elements: the sun, the blue sky, and the reflected light. And we're going to do it in the white feathers, so it's more simple. So starting with the sun, we're going to be looking at it right here. It's going to be the brightest white there is. And then the blue sky, we're going to see it in the shadow, and we're going to see that the shadow is a little bit more blue. And then we have reflected light, where we can see the part where the feet are reflecting up at the white feathers and making it a little bit more orange, since that's the color of the feet. Here I color picked the colors that are directly to the sun, and we can see that the colors are very vibrant. The whites look very white, the darks look very dark, the green looks very green, and the orange looks very orange. And I feel like that's what we think when we are painting, but we have to think about the other sources of light, especially when we are in the shadows. So we have to think about the shadows being eliminated by the second source of light, which is the blue sky. Here I have color picked the color of the shadow, and here I have the original white color that is reflected with direct sunlight. Here we have the white feathers that are in direct sunlight, and down here are the ones that are in the shadow. We obviously know that the shadows are going to be darker, but look down here where the colors are. It goes from a little bit yellow to closer to the blue. This makes us understand that the color of the shadows are not only darker but also bluer because of the sky. We are also going to be looking at the darker shadow that is behind the puffin, and we can see the lighter and darker color of the rock. Here we have very blue colors, but if we compare them to the back where we see where it's directly lit, we can see that these colors are very much to the blue side, where before they were not. And now we're going to look at reflected light. This one is the trickier one out of all of them. So we know that what we're seeing right now is the white feather of this puffin, but it's a little bit closer to the color of the feet. that are orange underneath it. If we jump into the color wheel, we're going to be noticing some things about the feathers. First, we're going to be looking at the white feather that is directly under the sun, and we can see that it's very bright and white. And if we go to the shadow where the light is being reflected orange, we can see that it's a lot farther away from the whites that we were looking at. And if we compare it to the original orange of the feet, we can see that it's very close to it. So I did a little study of this photo before I knew I was going to make a video, so I did not record any of my process, and it's a little wonky because I did it really fast and I wanted just to learn and solidify what I had just read. So I am going to be showing you the parts where we obviously have seen the principles, like the shadows. I tried to make them blue, and I tried to make sure that the whites were very bright in the part of the shadow, reflected the blue sky, also the reflected light. And you can see that I also tried to make the shadows a little bit more blue, which I usually don't do, and make sure that I had the reflected light that we can see here in the feet in the orange. And I just tried to make sure that the darker parts of the puffing that were not directly under the sun were darker than the other side of the puffing that actually did have light. So that's my little review of this chapter of the book. If you want to see more, let me know, because I know that I learn better when I explain it to someone else. And I hope this was helpful. I'm going to be making more videos this year like this, where I review a bunch of things that I'm learning. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in another video. Bye!